whatever works.
Yeah. Wow, we're live, everyone. Oh, I didn't even realise we were. Forgive the lateness. You know me, I'm just one of these people that's quite punctual, but Knut had his own set of problems, but we are here now. I'm not even going to say it's 6 p.m. on the 7th of October, because it's not. It's 6:07. So welcome, everyone, to the UK Bitcoin Master live show. As always, every Monday and every Thursday, I go live. And when I've got a special guest, we introduce them normally on a Thursday. And I've got that for you this evening. Now, you all know who our special guest is, so very, very quickly, let me just get the preliminaries out the way firstly and say that if you're new to all of this, don't take anything I say as financial advice. It is just me, some crazy Brit who goes live twice a week, has got in the rabbit hole and loves talking about Bitcoin. Secondly, well, I've got an overlay there, sorry. Check out my website, ukbitcoinmaster.com. That's where you'll find all my videos that I've done today. Bitcoin interviews is where you'll find all the interviews I've done today. And finally, if you want to drop a lightning tip, tipin.me at UK Bitcoin Master. That said, let's get all of that out the way. Very quickly, shout out to some of my regulars in the chat. Buffy W's in the house. My lovely daughter, welcome to you. My lovely wife, Elaine Mrs. UK, is in the house. Vinny Rondo's with us. Matthew Underhill. Dave Shackelford. Yorkie Bitcoiners with us. Who else have we got? Max Trotter. Welcome to you, Max. I don't know if you've been here before, but great to have you in the house. Alon Peled, I think you've been in the house before. Silent Lamb, if I've missed you, type in UK Bitcoin Master. I'll very, very gladly give you a shout out. But because we are running slightly late, I want to get right into it. Barefoot Barry coming in from New Zealand. Welcome to you, Barry, as always. Now, I want to get into this, get right on over to my guest, and let's get on with the show. Now, if you are in that Bitcoin rabbit hole, if you are following the right people, you should be following this guy. Firstly, 30,000 Twitter subscribers. He's written several books on Bitcoin. I've just finished reading one of those books. I've since found out, apologies for this, Knut, but it is the first one that he wrote. He's wrote many since, but I've just read the Sovereignty Through Mathematics, I think that's the right word, and I finished it last night, and it was just a fantastic book. So without further ado, Knut Svanholm, welcome to the show, my good friend. Great to have you in the house.
Great to be here, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tell me, where are you in the world at the moment, or is it an undisclosed location?
Yeah, the thing is, these glasses are not for OPSEC really, or for looking cool. It's just that these glasses fit me better than my regular glasses. So I use these all the time here. I'm in Spain at the moment.
Okay.
Enjoying life down here, and people are taking the COVID restrictions less and less seriously every day, and we're of course happy to see that. Freedom lovers as we are. And I heard Silent Lamb was watching this.
Yeah, Silent Lamb is in the house.
We had a coffee in Riga, 2019.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So are you...
And some beers the night before, I believe.
Nothing.
Yeah, he's a swell guy.
Nothing wrong with some beers. I'll take that all day.
Yeah. I can't see the chat here, by the way. I haven't opened that tab. I was a bit late because I was the assigned grill master for the night. So
signed grill master. Does that mean you were doing a barbecue?
I was doing a barbecue, and then my daughter's friend and her father came by, and I had to give them some of the food as well, and it took it a bit longer than I had planned.
Hey, listen, it happens. I'm just checking that our sound is okay. It says you're a lot quieter than me, right? So I'm going to try and bring your volume up a little bit so people can hear you.
Maybe. Is this better?
Well, I've just turned it up my end, so hopefully my lovely wife will let me know how that's sounding shortly. But I want to get into this, Knut, if I may. Tell me, do you live in Spain? Are you a bit of a nomad? Do you move around? Do you like holidaying a lot? Is it Bitcoin that's done this for you? I mean, what's your life look like?
Now we're getting into the OPSEC thing here, but
get that. Yeah.
Might as well spill the beans. We moved down to Spain here for a couple of months ago, or like 1.5 months ago, and we're planning to stay for a year to begin with and see how we like it. Got pretty bored with Sweden last year, even though we had a lot less COVID restrictions than everyone else. We took a lot of care in the family because my wife is in a risk group. She has a condition, MS. So we had to take extra care. And of course, we seized the opportunity of taking our children out of the brainwashing institution when we could. So we stayed at home a lot, and I worked from home a lot, which in Sweden means that you're basically in an isolated cell for like 9 months. Yeah, it's even worse than in the UK, but you know it's bad in the winter up north, right? So and we love it down here, and with the sun, and like the kids can swim and everything. So we've had this house for a couple of years, so we're doing this thing now, and I enjoy it a lot. I did my last day of fiat work last week.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I am now officially a full-time Bitcoiner.
Oh, congratulations, man! That's superb.
I'm starting this career by not doing anything the first month, I think, because I need to get my act together and get my mindset off my last job. I was the crew manager for an offshore shipping company.
Awesome.
Up until now. Yeah.
Load of stress then. Load of stress.
Yeah. 200 between 200 and 250 seafarers on Danish contracts, and I had a team of coordinators and tried to manage all that. So it was a stressful job, but like having that position really helped me develop some skills, I guess. I mean, you grow with every position in your career. You know, you learn something new every step of the way. And yep. I have nothing against my old employers or my old fiat career. I had a very, very interesting career so far, and I don't mind it. It's just that Bitcoin has taken over. I mean, my writings and my other little ditties on Twitter and the animations we've done and everything, they're doing much better than I expected. So I figured I had to seize the opportunity and do something with it, and we'll see what comes out of it. I have no idea. I might be lazy as hell and just do nothing for the year, not write another book. By the way, I've written 2 proper books. The first book is just a collection of articles, and then I wrote Sovereignty Through Mathematics and Independence Reimagined, which are the official Bitcoin books, and then there are several translations on them on Amazon as well. So it looks like there's a lot of books, but it's really just 2. But 2 is more than most people have written.
No,
on Bitcoin.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what I liked about the book. I've been through The Sovereign Individual, The Creature from Jekyll Island, 20 hours of listening, because I'm a listener. Yeah. Some people like to read a book. I like to listen. I absorb more. And what I found with yours was it was so digestible. It didn't take me more than a few mornings and evenings lying in bed, relaxing, listening, and the whole thing was done. And what I tried to do, I noticed that it kept me interested. Do you see what I mean? It didn't. There weren't parts of it where I thought, "Oh, how much more of this?" It really was. It's a great book. Again, I shill a book on here. We got a guy in the chat who's got a great book called The Bitcoin Book. The Future of Finance, a Guide to the Future of Finance. Can't quite remember it, and I shill that a lot because that's a great read. But equally, I'd be wrong if I didn't shill something else that I thought was if you're just coming into Bitcoin, if you just got into Bitcoin, I would encourage you to get onto Amazon and check out Knut's book. Let me get this right. So it's Sovereignty. Is it Through Mathematics? I can't remember. Yeah. Sovereignty through Mathematics. I think it's only about 4 hours, is it? Or is it 2 and 2.5? I can't remember. But
it's short. It's more of a pamphlet than a book, really.
But I found found it really interesting, and there was enough in it. Now, I'm already a Bitcoiner, I'm down the rabbit hole, but there was enough in it to make me think, wow, this thing's going to go somewhere. This guy's really on this. He believes in this passionately. And I'm going to say right off the bat, really, before we start getting into Bitcoin, so am I. I can't write a book, but I'm in the rabbit hole 5 years now, and it's just blowing my mind. Actually, I told a lie. That's 4.5 years. It's blowing my mind, and I just can't get enough of it. And everywhere you turn, there's something else to learn. And, the last handful of shows of my own have been talking about the Lightning Network, because I believe Bitcoin's a done deal, if I can use that terminology, and now we've got to look at the payment rails and how we use it as a unit of account around the world, and all this has got to develop, but it's just so exciting, I can't put it down. So in terms of those finding this channel in the future, BTC Moon Guy, Hastings Solutions, Caitlin Linden, welcome. That's my granddaughter, by the way, Knut. I've now got my granddaughter, my daughter, and my missus on the call with us. That's a UK Bitcoin Master family show, isn't it? Okay, so the point is, people are going to be watching this in the future, and what I want to do is try and steer them to stuff that's not too heavy. My goodness, you can get on some of the podcasts and they're really, really, really heavy, and they're okay for people like us that have been in that rabbit hole a length of time. But for a noob, it can frighten them away. Do you know what I mean? So I think the Bitcoin space has got room for everyone at every level. And what I like to do on my shows is to find out about the person, which you've just been telling me about your background, etc., and then how they found Bitcoin, what their initial thoughts were. Were they skeptical? Did they need to, have it flash through their being 4 or 5 times before they finally did something with it? Tell me about your intro to Bitcoin. Was it a phone call? Were you looking on the internet? I'm interested to know this.
The thing is, I can't really recall where it all started.
Okay.
I know I was on, the job I had before I started in the offshore wind industry was as a second mate and a chief mate on a tall ship.
Yep.
Which was also a tall ship with high school students on board, sailing around the Atlantic, and staying for 6 days in each port. And we went to places we went to France and the UK and Spain, and but then also some more exotic places like the Cape Verde Islands, and then across the Atlantic to Suriname or Grenada or Belize or the Dominican Republic and Cuba and Mexico and the US and the Azores, is that how you pronounce it? The Azores.
Azores,
yeah. Azores in the middle of the Atlantic, and a lot of we did some trips around Scotland and Norway and stuff as well, the Shetland and Orkney and the Hebrides and all sorts of places.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did that for 8 years. And I had a lot of spare time. I wrote a lot of songs, and I philosophized a lot. I read a lot, and I crossed the Atlantic a couple of times. And I guess that's where my interest in Bitcoin started. I must have heard of it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I was curious about it, and what is this thing? Can this really work? Because I grew up with a Commodore 64 personal
Me too.
computer. You remember that?
And the ZX Spectrum as well.
Yeah. Well, I only had the Commodore 64, but I enjoyed programming it in BASIC and stuff like that. And I knew, from the first time I wrote 10 print hello and 20 go to 10. And I saw that this could go on forever, just copying itself over and over again.
Yep.
That's when you got the realization that computers can copy things in infinity, and the same when the internet came along. It's oh shit! Songs are copyable now. We can copy songs like never before, and it takes no time, and we don't have to use these cassettes anymore. And having grown up with that, you kind of realized how big of a revolution it was going to be. and I was in my late teens at the time when the internet really took off in '96 and '97, uh, and even before that. And I realized the potential of it, but I chose another career, and I didn't become a nerd. As like, if you were into computers back then, you were the nerd, and like you had a nerd career, and
Yeah.
you had
Yep.
yeah. But I
So,
chose
so when you
yeah.
came across Bitcoin, or when you first
Yeah,
started looking
yeah,
into it, what was going on in your head?
I when I really got into it was in 2016. So I attended an online course
Yep.
at the University of Nicosia. I was one of the top students of the course, and Andreas Antonopoulos was one of the teachers. I think it's still around. It's but it's too shitcoiny nowadays for my taste.
Yep.
Uh, but after having done that, I I thought I got the grip of like what this thing was, and I started writing about it. And I had just read Skin in the Game by Taleb,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
thought like I need to put my real name out there and like really try to do something about it. And like if because I was so fascinated by by Andreas Antonopoulos, to be honest, and
Yep.
his lifestyle, just flying around the globe speaking about this subject that no one knew anything about. It's like, I wonder if I can do something similar and like do something with this. And so, what do I need to do in order to like make something of myself in this space? And so, well, I'll better. I'll never figure it out if I don't do anything. So
Yep.
I'll start writing and see where it leads me. And one of the articles I wrote was about how to secure your private keys right before the Bitcoin Cash fork in 2017.
Yep.
Which, by the way, is the event where I got really convinced that Bitcoin could actually work and was not just an experiment that could fail for no particular reason. But like my confidence in the protocol increased a lot at that point in time.
Yep.
When the Bitcoin when the Segwit 2x hard fork was denied by the users.
Yeah. I just got in before that. I got in a couple of months before that, so I didn't really know what it was all about, to be honest.
That's when I realized that the users were really in control of the thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that had to be true in order for it to work long term.
Yep.
In order for this 21 million to be a set in stone, so to speak. And I had before that I had experienced going sort of semi-viral on the internet before with a rock band that I had. That we had a video up on the Pirate Bay.
Yep.
They promoted bands, and it was called the Promo Bay, and that got like 100,000 YouTube views in over a weekend when it was promoted by that site. So I'd already experienced this pressing F5 a lot and refreshing the page and see what happens. See if there's a new comment.
Yeah.
And when that happened, sort of happened again with like 70,000 views for my article about how to secure your private keys before the. So I thought maybe I'm not just maybe it's not impossible to have a voice here somewhere. So I'll see. I'll keep on doing this and see where it happens. And then I when I had written a bunch of articles, I wrote for a magazine called Hacker Noon back then. And when I had like a book's worth of articles, I compiled them into a book, just because I was curious of how do you publish a book and how do you do this. So I did that, and it, quite happy with it. But then that's the book my name was associated with, and like if you Googled anything, that's the book. That's what I had attached to my name, and I thought. This is just a compilation of semi-crappy articles, and like there's no coherent narrative here, or no. I need to write a proper book. So in 2018, in New Year's Eve, I promised myself to write a page a day for a year, and I did for 106 days, and then I got bored with it, and I thought, like, I don't really have that much else to say. This is done now. Let's just call it a day, and that's how Sovereignty Through Mathematics was born. And I published it. No one gave a shit. and then I went to Riga in 2019 to the Baltic Honey Badger conference, and gave it to a bunch of important Bitcoiners.
Yep.
At the time, and like I brought 50 books. I sold 25 of them and gave 25 of them away. And I realized that even most of the people at the conference knew who I was, even back then when I hadn't made a name for myself, because of Twitter, because everyone knows everyone on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I felt that I found my flock. That like I really liked the people there, and everyone was friendly, and everyone was, when you meet other Bitcoiners, instinctively that they're above a couple of intellectual thresholds. So you don't have to play the charade you play with normies, and talk about the weather and whatnot. Yeah, you can just start at like
a proper conversation. Yeah.
Like when I met Giacomo Zucco again, now in Mexico, a sweet reunion where we started talking about if the universe was deterministic or not, and the multiverse theory within 2 minutes.
Oh my lord!
So it's like you just know with these people that they're on a different level. Of course, there are different levels among Bitcoiners as well, and I wouldn't count myself as being in the top tier in any shape or form. But then again, it's always refreshing, and you can always get something out of talking to a proper Bitcoiner.
I think so. And I think you can also get something out of talking to somebody really experienced in Bitcoin. Equally, excuse me, you can get something from somebody that's just getting into Bitcoin, that's got ideas, theories, etc. So I think the Bitcoin community sort of is a self-fulfilling prophecy or self-fulfilling cycle, because everybody's got something to add. I remember in 2018, I'd only been in Bitcoin about 8 months, and Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, he said to me, because I've sort of got a bit of a friendship with Adam, he said, you should be in motion. One of his famous phrases, you should be in motion, you need to start a YouTube channel. I said, no, I don't want to start a YouTube channel. He said, but you've got something to say about Bitcoin, you should just get on and say it, and you'll be terrible to start with, and then you'll refine it all, and maybe there's people out there that will listen to what you've got to say and go, aha, this is the type of person I listen to. Some people maybe get turned off by what I've got to say, and they want to go and listen to someone like Preston Pish or Peter McCormack, and that's okay. But what we all have to do, in your terminology, is find our own flock. I really love that statement. That's a beautiful statement.
Yeah, and Bitcoiners are awesome. I always get surprised by how awesome Bitcoiners are. That's like I was in Mexico for 2 months ago for the Bitcoin Standard Conference, Ugly Old Goats Conference, and we formed a band during one of the nights. We just borrowed some instruments. We had never played together before, but it sounded quite all right. So I was really happy about that. So and things those who didn't play, everyone else played like chess and poker, and knew how to play chess, knew how to play poker. There's always these hidden talents and skills that Bitcoiners have that are really awesome.
Well, I daren't chip in that I used to play lead guitar on electric guitar then.
Perfect.
Look,
we ought to jam one day.
Oh, no, I can't anymore because of a condition I've got in my hands with arthritis. So right. I had to stop playing many decades ago. I'm giving my age away. Look, let's talk Bitcoin. Let's talk Bitcoin. Yeah. I love that key at the top of your Twitter, and I think it went something like everything and anything divided by 21 million.
Everything there is and everything that ever will be.
Thank you. Divided by 21 million. Let's talk about that, because I've heard you on many shows, and you've got this real passion for why Bitcoin. Let's just use the word or the phrase "taken over the world" just loosely. Why you feel that is, and because I'm fascinated by that story.
Yeah. Oh, where to start about that? I mean, the whole phrase is like to make people think about the fact that there's no theoretical top that the Bitcoin price can have. There's no theoretical upper limit to the purchasing power that Bitcoin can acquire over the years.
Yeah.
And this is mostly due to its limited supply, the 21 million thing. And Bitcoin is just an agreement between us Bitcoiners that these rules are fair and we want to play by these rules. It's really nothing else. And as long as we agree about that, we benefit from it. And you may disagree. Some people do, but then they can't have any of the benefits. The benefits are only for those of us who believe that these rules are fair.
Yep.
And that's why it won't fail, because we all have some Bitcoin, and we all know that as long as the supply is limited, we'll benefit from Bitcoin acquiring more users and more money coming into Bitcoin, or whatever. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The incentives are aligned on all levels of society. Like, you have El Salvador now, for instance, the first country that has made Bitcoin legal tender. It will most definitely trigger some kind of domino effect, where other countries jump on board as well, because you have the prisoner's dilemma game theory matrix with country A and country B, and like not adopting Bitcoin and adopting Bitcoin. And for if country B does not adopt Bitcoin, they're later to the game, and they will be left behind somewhat, since like acquiring Bitcoin earlier is always preferable to acquiring them later. And this is not only between countries, but between people, between like corporations, between everyone, between politicians even.
Yeah.
I believe it's unstoppable, because there's like no reason not to like this thing, really, except if you're the head of the New World Order, of the like greatest conspiracy ever, and the one pulling the strings of all the central banks. Then you might have something to lose from Bitcoin, but everyone else in the hierarchy will benefit from it.
My belief is many of the bashers, many of the people that have another narrative to push, they're stacking Bitcoin, but they're just not making it public. They're nuts if they don't. If they got any sense and they've done their research, they might have to knock it, because the narrative is, if you don't knock it, then your job's at stake. But I believe that many of them are stacking sats.
Yeah, they might be, but some of them might be in the butthurt phase as well, and like think they've missed the train, and like missed out on Bitcoin, and that there's no point now and everything. But they'll learn sooner or later. Bitcoin is not going away. It's not crashing. It's adopting more users every day, and more money every day, even more importantly. So have fun staying poor.
And I heard on a podcast either this morning or yesterday, I may have been Pomps, I can't remember, but it was interesting. They said that there'll come a point, obviously in 2141, when the last Bitcoin is mined, and obviously you will have all of the Bitcoin out there. But then they said something really interesting, and that is then over the next few hundred years, whatever it might be, people will lose some coins, and then you'll be back, and then the coins will shrink again, not because they're not in existence, because people have lost keys or whatever that situation might be. So you're going to hit a tipping point, and then over centuries it's going to go the other way. What's your view on that?
This is where it gets really interesting, because if you really think about it, and if you follow the thought vectors to wherever they might lead you, and you're intellectually honest about this thing, it's even more bizarre than you might expect at the first glance, because what people don't realize is that most of the bitcoins have been mined already. Like 19 million of the 21 million that will ever exist are already out there.
Yep.
And they're getting lost every day. So the supply, sooner or later, the supply is shrinking and not increasing. And everyone who knows anything about this are already aware of the total supply that will ever exist, so they will act accordingly.
Yep.
And I believe that the greatest shortcoming of the human mind is of the human race is our inability to understand the exponential function. And if Bitcoin, if every other currency is printed like at a faster and faster rate every year, which is happening, like 30% of all dollars in circulation were printed post-COVID, or after COVID hit.
Yep.
And bitcoins have this finite supply, and they will get wasted. And the more people we onboard, the greater the chance that they will actually get lost, because more people lose Bitcoin, and when you lose them, you can't get them back. When you die, if you haven't told anyone about how to unlock them, so to speak, they're gone. They're gone. And furthermore, we know that adoption is getting larger and larger, because Bitcoin is doing what central bankers and socialists have claimed to have been doing. Oh, tricky grammars here for forever. Because Bitcoin is actually redistributing wealth. Because the Bitcoin really big whales are shrinking in numbers, and the shrimp and the small Bitcoin holders that have like less than 10 Bitcoin or less than 1 Bitcoin, they are growing in numbers. So there's actually a wealth redistribution happening within the Bitcoin community. But you can only take part in this wealth redistribution if you have if you're a Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin, then you're a part of it. But you're not a part of it if you're outside the system. So everyone's incentivized to be in the system. Now, where was I going with this? Well, you have this wealth redistribution within Bitcoin. More users getting onboarded, more smaller numbers of Bitcoin scattered out among a larger number of people. More Bitcoins getting lost, even though people take better and better security measures. The more people that you onboard, and the more the wealth is redistributed, the more Bitcoins are going to get lost over time. And you have this limited supply that is almost already there, like 19 million out of 21 million. The fee market will take over. I don't know how many of your listeners are aware of this, but over time, Bitcoin is meant to slowly start functioning in another way, where the fee market takes over from the new coin issuance thing. And this is already happening. You can see like the fees are a non-trivial part of the miners' revenue already. And it's supposed to be that way, and fees will get higher, which means that the sooner you realize about the Lightning Network and layer 2 solutions. Maybe I'm getting too complicated.
No, carry on. It's brilliant.
So we need to get off base layer, because base layer will be for large transactions and important transactions. Layer 2 solutions will be for everyday transactions. Like the Lightning Network was already back in 2019 the absolutely the best payment system I've ever tried. As I said, I sold my books. And I used like credit cards, debit cards, cash, PayPal, and the Lightning base layer Bitcoin and Lightning Network. And Lightning Network worked. That was the best experience even back in 2019. And it's really taking over now with Shiba wallet and everything in El Salvador, when you have like millions of people onboarded. It's just fascinating to see what's happening.
But
let me finish the thought there. Where was I going with this? The thing is, if you, yeah, I've been talking about this before, but Bitcoin might have an S-shaped adoption curve when it comes to the number of users, but that says nothing about the price. The price may still go up, and it may still go up exponentially after that, because when all the people of the world are onboarded, then you have all the money in the world still waiting to go on, and like there's no real reason for people to not invest more into Bitcoin. So then you have hyper Bitcoinization, all the money in the world gets onboarded, and everything gets eaten up by Bitcoin, everything divided by 21 million. But even after that, you have a global sound money, non-interventionist free market without taxes or inflation or borders or anything. Yes, a pure meritocracy, brutal capitalistic, I mean that in a good way, productive society where like the best products get produced at no cost at all. And this is happening in parallel to the AI revolution and robotics and whatnot everywhere, where the marginal production cost and the marginal transportation cost of everything approaches zero. And the only reason that we have rising prices in the world today is that the cheapest thing there is in the world to produce is a dollar or a euro or a yuan. Like the dollar, for me to say the word dollar, it is costlier than what it is for the central bank to press enter and create $1 trillion new dollars. To write the word dollar is more expensive than to create new dollars. Think about what that implies.
Madness.
It's madness. Like I was talking about MP3s before and how marvelous it was when you could copy songs and share them online. Well, an MP3 at least takes up some megabytes of data, right?
Yeah.
A dollar does not. It's just a number of zeros in a number on a ledger. It's like you just add a zero there's a person somewhere creating the new dollar, and for that person, the cost of doing that is like the cost of lifting your finger and pressing a button. Which is like the cheapest thing there is to produce, and that's the only reason that prices are going up. Prices ought to be going down. We ought to be getting better at everything. Everyone knows that we are getting better at doing absolutely everything. We're getting more effective. We know that about AI. We know about robotics. We know about like how efficient the human race has become, and still we expect prices to go up. Why? How easily fooled are we? I mean, the prices of everything is supposed to go down. The world is supposed to be a better place.
But most people in the world go through life and they never learn and understand what inflation is. They hear the name, but they don't understand it.
No, they don't even reflect about it. And like, I saw there was a meme going around on Facebook. Oh, rest in peace, Facebook. About the price of petrol. I'm in the UK now, so I'm using the word petrol instead of the word gasoline. So the price of petrol and the price of an ice cream, and they compared the price in 1970 to the price in 2020, and it's like both prices have gone up. Like the ice cream has gone up 16 times in price, and the gasoline has gone up by the petrol has gone up by 16x, and the ice cream by 17x.
Okay.
Which means that, and the meme on Facebook is like, look at this, ice cream has gone up more than petrol. Petrol is still cheap. Ha ha ha. And no one reflects over the fact that someone took 16/17 of everyone's wealth away.
Yeah, I know.
Where did those 16/17 go? I mean, it's ridiculous.
But most people just live their life from paycheck to paycheck, don't they? And hope nothing goes wrong. That's the reality. You know, I mean, I was in that camp until I got into Bitcoin. It was very much you get paid, and as long as all your bills are paid and they're not going to kick you out of your house and you got some heat and warmth and some food, hey, we just hope we live from month to month, year to year, and nothing goes wrong. And with a bit of luck, somebody's got some money to bury me when I go. And then all of a sudden you get in the Bitcoin rabbit hole and you start learning about money and inflation. And I didn't know what inflation was 4.5 years ago. I'd heard the term, but never needed to know what it was because I was a regular human being that didn't need to. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and that's why we get stuck in the hamster's wheel, and the hamster's wheel itself ensures that we don't have time to think about these things.
Yep.
So most people run around in the little wheel, and they never reflect about why is this happening to me? Why am I doing this every day? And like, shouldn't life be easier by now? And they think like most people think of an economy as a zero-sum game, so that there are winners and losers, and that there's like a finite amount of stuff and productivity in the world, and we all have to share that. And the more people that get onboarded to the economy, the more burdensome it becomes. But it's the opposite. Like, every new person in an economy adds something to it. I mean, the economy is supposed to be growing, and that's a good thing. But somehow that got lost along the way, and I have a lot of theories about what happened. I think democracy is a very overrated concept. This is a bit far-fetched for most people, I know. But I believe you cannot criticize the system from within the system. It's very hard to see what's wrong with a system from within a system. And
well, I think we're in a world where most people just feel that the government will take care of them, and yet the government are the corruptest out of all of them, and they're bleeding the masses dry.
And most people believe that just electing the other party into parliament will solve their problems. But no. I believe they're wrong, and there are like praxeological proofs that they are wrong. No. It's all about time preference. Like, if you rob me of some of my wealth, say 50% of my wealth, you take it away, then I necessarily have to have a higher time preference after that has happened. And I might have to buy some safety and security devices. I might have to buy a dog and a gun and whatever.
Yep.
And I will make more and more short-term decisions, right?
Yep.
And I have to abandon some of my long-term thinking and what I'm building long-term. And like, the most short-term you can get is like living day by day, and how am I going to get food today? Like, that's the lowest time preference, or the highest time preference.
Yep.
But the psyche reacts exactly the same way to being taxated or having your currency inflated as having been robbed.
Yeah.
To me, I react exactly the same. It's even worse with the taxes, because if I get robbed, I know that everyone else in society knows that the thief is the bad guy and I'm the good guy. And like, I know that he will probably just take the money and run and not bother me again, because attacking me a second time has a cost to it. Like, I will probably be more prepared the next time and so on.
Yep.
But a tax, on the other hand, it's the other way around. Everyone in society thinks that it's fair, and that it got there by the fair process of a democratic election and everything. So all our time preference necessarily go down or get shortened, which is a higher time preference. These are complicated terms. I prefer the high time preference is when you're a short-term thinker, and low time preference is when you're a long-term thinker. And it's easy to mix them up.
Yep.
But that's the thing that taxes do. And if you're redistributing wealth from the rich to the poor, you incentivize people to be poor rather than to be rich.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
this is the thing that people have to wrap their heads around. This is not politics. This is just basic economic facts that if you promote a certain kind of behavior, people will behave more and more in that kind of way.
Yeah.
So whatever like injustice you try to eliminate in society, the more of that, the victims of that injustice you will create.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting deep here.
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, I want people to wake up to the fact that, you know, if I can wake up, listen, I left school at 15 with no qualifications. I hated school. Okay. And for 20 years, I drove British trucks, and that's what I did. So I wasn't educated, but I wasn't in finance. And yet I found Bitcoin, and I was open-minded enough, excited enough, and willing to get in the rabbit hole and learn all about it. Now, I admit I go on some shows and, you know, what they talk about goes right over my head. But I got the basic concept that there is a way, if you are open to it, that you can take back financial control. You can put yourself and your family in a position where over time your Bitcoin will give you more and more purchasing power, when the dollar or the pound or the yen or the euro or whatever will give you less and less and less and less and less. And the way that I simplify it for family members, etc., is this. You have a look at how your pound has been devalued over the last 10 years, 20 years, its purchasing power, and put £100 in a British bank savings account and see what you'll earn at the end of the year. In a lot of cases now, they're going to actually charge you to keep that in that bank account. And yet with Bitcoin, you have a chance that might go up. That might make you more money. That might help you into the future. That might enable you to leave a legacy for your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And for me, I can't see how anybody couldn't see that and get excited about it. I just can't. And yet most people don't.
No.
Most people don't.
No, but most people don't see the problem with what we're living in today, where we're punished for saving and rewarded for spending.
Yeah,
and
we are.
Rewarded for spending more than we have. And that's like probably when you grow up, as well as when I grow up, we were like our parents told us to save up for the future and to not live above your means. Like you have this much.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you do, don't take a loan or anything, because that's stupid. It will cost you more in the long run. And today, like, we can't buy the houses our parents built because the price is too high. And those people that have houses and a big mortgage, they get rewarded because the house goes up in price, and we think like, oh, sweet, we made some money here. Well, at what cost?
Yeah.
And did your house go up in price, or did the money go down in price?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
That's what's really happened. Because a house is a consumer good. It deteriorates over time. So that's not, and we're in the Western world, we're not getting more than 1.7 children each. So, well, some of our populations are growing anyway because we have a lot of immigrants, but the populations aren't growing at that pace, so that houses can't like keep up with it. It's just ridiculous. It's just the value of the money going down. It's nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just a big pyramid scheme.
And people don't get it.
No. So it's just funneling wealth from the masses to the elite. And that's how it works. And it's not capitalism. And that's what people have to realize, that people say, oh, that wasn't real communism. Oh, that wasn't real socialism, when they defend socialist policies. But it's the other way around. It's real capitalism that haven't been tried.
Yep.
We've never had sound money before. Even gold was too inflationary and had like properties that weren't really suited for a perfect form of money. The Bitcoin does have the properties of a perfect form of money. It's scarce, it's teleportable, it's censorship resistant, it's all of these things.
Portable, immutable.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and
I don't.
also,
Go on, carry on.
So people need to
wake up. Yeah, they do. People do need to
Yeah,
wake up. And I want to grab them by the scruff of the neck and say, for goodness sake, flipping wake up. You know, you are getting creamed out of your wealth. You won't have any wealth. Like you say, most people, I mean, it's a proven fact. I believe that something like 60 to 80% of everyone that gets to retirement age dies without enough money even to bury themselves. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live like that. And you should not work hard all your life for 30 to 40 to 50 years to die broke. You shouldn't. And I think Bitcoin is the first money, sound money, hard money that gives the world a chance to be a better, fairer place for everyone and redistribute that wealth away from those FANG companies back into the hands of the people. And I love it. I think it was William Clemente. I think he was saying that we're seeing that the whales are starting to dump some of their bags, taking profits, and the ordinary common man, the shrimp, with less than 1 Bitcoin, they're getting more. You said this at the head of the show. Yeah. More and more and more people are realizing this and getting off of ground zero. But can you explain to people, Knut, why, just because they feel they can only buy a little bit here and a little bit there, if they DCA, like my daughter who's in the chat, okay, and my granddaughter who's in the chat too, you put a little bit away each month and you do that for a decade, for 2 decades, if time is on your side. What type of difference could that make for their families going forward?
It could make all the difference in the world, because here you have an asset which is absolutely scarce, which is something that humanity has never seen before. And if you look at where the money is going, where the big money is going these days, is like, it's going into scarce things, like real estate in Manhattan, real estate in Tokyo, real estate in London.
Art.
Yeah. Like I always compare it to Da Vinci paintings, of which there are 13 left in the world, Da Vinci originals.
Yeah.
And that's like, one of them is the most expensive painting ever sold, the Salvator Mundi. And Bitcoin is 21 million units of Da Vinci paintings, basically. And one day there will only be 13 Bitcoins left, because, as we were talking about before, people will lose them. And one day there will be only 1 Bitcoin left, and it will be immensely, unimaginably valuable. Because, like, you can still teleport it, you can still subdivide it into as many units as you want.
Yeah.
Like, the limit on subdivision vanished with the Lightning Network. There used to be, like, the smallest unit in the Bitcoin network used to be a Satoshi, which is 100 millionth of a whole Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But nowadays we have the Lightning Network, which can even subdivide those. So you can stream money, and the units can be like pixels of money.
I know.
You can have like a hundredth of a Satoshi being earned every time Super Mario jumps over a bunch of those coins in the game. Like, this opens up so many new. It's like, if I don't know how much people know about these things, but imagine, like, the science of electrics compared to the science of electronics, where you had electrics with wires and, like, electricity for your light bulbs and everything, and then you have Tesla figuring out alternating currency, not currency, alternating current.
Current, yep.
And transporting electricity along vast distances, but it's not until, like, in the middle of the last century, when we discover electronics, that we can really make use of these electrons, because then we can have if and or, like, logic circuits, which is the basic of the computer. So you can build a computer instead of just lighting your house with a lamp or running a fan on electricity. Yeah. So the use cases are a lot more. With the Lightning Network compared to Bitcoin, you're seeing the same type of revolution. You're going from electrics to electronics. You're going from, like, base layer super sound money, magic internet money thing that takes a lot of time, but the trade-offs are worth it, into streaming money and like a completely new. You could construct value circuits, value computers, like we can't even imagine what this enables us to do because it's so bizarre and it's so like it will propel humanity in ways we can't imagine. And you just need to realize the basics of it in order to see this. If you have a bit of imagination, you can see that this is
Well,
completely unstoppable.
I always say we've only got to go back to, I believe it's 2011, I believe, when there was a launch of the Apple iPhone 3. It might have been 12, I can't remember. And, everybody, this smartphone, we went from an ordinary phone to a BlackBerry and then all of a sudden a smartphone. And even when that came out and it had apps, I mean, I went, what the hell are apps? What is that? And now, you can't imagine today the things you can do on a phone. It is a computer that used to take up a whole room in your pocket that goes everywhere with you, that gives you access to the world 24/7. And it's
imagine a Bond movie in the 80s, like when it was a completely futuristic thing to have video calls on your phone.
Yeah.
Or on your arm watch.
Yeah.
Whatever. And like that was a complete science fiction. Now we have that, and we have like so much more than that, access to everything from your.
And it's all going to be built on Bitcoin. This is the thing that I love about it. Bitcoin is money. It is speech. It is truth. It is the apex predator. It's going to eat up everything in its path, I believe. And I know you believe that too after listening to you on.
But believe that, like that's also a thing I think about a lot. And you know this from having read my book. Like, I believe that there's no belief required, because if you understand the game theory and if you understand the basic mathematics of it, no belief is required.
Bitcoin just is. It is.
Yeah, and you can verify every step of it, including the praxeological, the game theoretical. I call it financial atheism, by the way, in the book, because it's the rejection of the belief system that we live in now, because we're required to believe the priests and the prophets of the fiat system. So I view statism as yet another organized religion that forces us to believe in a narrative that really makes little sense when you really think about it. So like central banking is like Noah's Ark to me. I don't really buy it. I don't buy the narrative. This it sounds like a beautiful story and whatnot, but it doesn't really work. And that's the thing with Bitcoin. You can verify every step of it, including the game theoretical mechanics behind it, like why humans won't act in their own against their own self-interest. That's why it works, because it's an agreement, and if you're in the system and you act against your own self-interest, you lose.
Yeah,
you lose the game. So everyone is incentivized to play by the rules, and that's the beauty of the system. How do you stop that? And furthermore, like, there are so many, for people listening to this, there are so many parts of this rabbit hole to dive deep into.
Aren't there just?
Most people have heard of, like, you can memorize 24 words, and that's your Bitcoin seed phrase, and you can cross any border in the world with your Bitcoin in your head.
Yep.
What they don't realize is, by doing that, if there's nowhere else, if your Bitcoin exists nowhere else but in your head, so if you erased all the, like, you burnt all the little post-it notes and whatnot you had the seed phrase on before, and you just remember them, you are your Bitcoin. You're in a symbiotic relationship with a new life form that exists solely on the internet and feeds off of human incentives.
We're into Max Kaiser territory now.
but this is not science fiction. This is happening right now. It's right here.
Yeah.
If you memorize your seed phrase and throw it away, you are your Bitcoin.
Wow.
And your Bitcoin will die with you if you go and die.
That's pretty profound, really, isn't it? Because you are your Bitcoin, and your Bitcoin is you. You are one at one with your Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah, and your Bitcoin are you, because they enable you to express yourself in ways you couldn't before it existed. And a buying something, buying a good or a service. All goods are services, by the way. To get into another rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
yeah.
By doing that, you're expressing what you truly believe. Saying something is one thing, but doing something is a completely different thing. That's why follow the money is so important and everything. Look at what people do instead of what they say, because what they do is what really matters. And that's when you live in a symbiotic relationship with Bitcoin, like your Bitcoin is you, because your Bitcoin reflects your soul.
That's pretty damn
It's
profound, isn't it? That's pretty profound, but it is so true.
peace. Some people tell me I look like Ringo Starr. So yeah.
You do look. When I got your first shot for the thumbnail, I said to my missus, I said, "That's Ringo Starr. Look, that is Ringo Starr." Listen, we're coming up towards the hour mark. Knut, what is your thought on the short-term movement of Bitcoin? I.e., where do you see it playing out over the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, forget price. If you're in Bitcoin, you're not in it for what the price is now. You're in it. I mean, there's an old saying, isn't there? I came for the speculation. You then stay for the revolution, and you know how it's going to change the world. But I'm a bit mercenary, like most. I want to take some off the top and enjoy my golden years before my kids have it all. And two of them are in the chat, so don't knock me off too early, kids. But where do you see it going maybe over the next 5 to 10 years?
That's the thing, short term. You said it. That's the taboo word, short term. And I know you would like your children to inherit your Bitcoin, but please do remember that if they don't, the purchasing power of your Bitcoin, if you take them all with you, that will get distributed to all the other Bitcoiners of the world. So
yes, it will.
There's a beautiful ending to your story, regardless. I don't know how old you are, but I don't think you're that old. I mean,
I'm in my early 60s. I'm in my early 60s, so but
I'm in my mid 40s.
Wow! This is crazy because my daughter who's in the chat is in her early 40s, so I feel like a flipping old dinosaur now. I really do. But
anyway, where do I think it's going in the near future? But that's the million sad question, isn't it? Because
it is.
You never know where it's going short term, because it could drop 80% any day. But the volatility is there, and it depends a lot on look, Bitcoin has a limited supply, so the only factor that determines its price is its demand.
Yeah,
and that demand might be or is it's provably skewed in some way, shape, or form, either by you have the tethers, for instance, of these stable coins and everything, and you have huge players manipulating markets, and you have the dollar itself not being a truthful currency but being inflated, and we have not taken all the 30% new dollars into account at all. Oh, am I losing my connection?
That's better. You're better.
So there's a lot of things affecting the price every day. So you can't really say that the Bitcoin revolution will happen within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
There's a great chance that it will. And there's a great chance that this thing will get really, really weird, much more weird than anyone else can even imagine. There's also a chance that it'll take 100 years or 200 years or even 1,000 years, and we won't realize the preciousness of this thing until
we're all gone. We're all gone. Our kids are gone. Yeah. No, absolutely. So that's our job, isn't it? To pass that baton on. That's our job, I think, to educate the generations to carry on the baton when we're gone. I think.
Yeah. In a way it is. But the thing is, most people think about this it might 10x again, or it might die, it might take a long time before hyper-Bitcoin. What most people don't think about is, what if this is hyper-Bitcoinization and this is the starting point happening right now? So this is the end of volatility. There's a set squeeze. The supply is diminished so much, the demand increases so much, so that it can't go down ever again.
You got the hockey stick, haven't you?
You got the hockey stick, and it's not an S shape; it's a J shape. It just goes up and up and up, and there's no end to it.
Yep.
And when all the money and everything is on board, I mean, imagine everyone on Earth having 99% of their net worth in their heads instead of in physical things. Then you have eliminated violence from the equation.
Yep.
Taking stuff by force is not profitable anymore, because if you threaten or kill that person, 99% of what they could have given you is gone forever.
Yep.
Which means that the only way of enriching yourself by interacting with another person is to provide something of value to that person, so that he can provide you with something of value back. And this is so profound, because it's literally eliminating violence on every level of society. It's incentivizing people to hop on board and helping Bitcoin succeed on every level of society.
Yep.
It's removing armed robberies, and it's removing wars from the equation at the same time. This is the most profound thing humanity has ever discovered.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything yet. This is like, what are we, 12 years in?
Yep.
This is nothing. We haven't seen anything yet. This is going to usher us into a completely new paradigm, where everything gets rethought, whatever.
Yeah, thunk, love it. Yeah, but we don't know the half of it, do we? We haven't got a clue what this is going to look like.
We don't know a millionth of it. We have no clue where this is going. We're Neanderthals trying to imagine Boston Dynamics.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
It is no different to imagining back in the 70s and 80s the fact that you'll have a tiny device in your pocket and you'll be able to video call anybody from anywhere around the world absolutely free of charge.
Yeah, but Bitcoin is even way, way, way more profound than that.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
This is like humans pre the invention of the wheel, trying to imagine interstellar travel. I can't even think of a proper analogy. It's just because when you see how like everyone on Earth incentivized to interact with each other peacefully instead of violently.
Yeah.
And then you see the true power of this. This is peace, man. Yeah, the Ringo thing again.
Yeah.
This is peace. This is peace and love. This is Ringo money. Peace and love everywhere.
Well, Knut, it's been an absolute blast having you on the show. It really has. Sometimes it's good to talk outside of the generalizations of Bitcoin like we've done on this show. And I would say to anybody, and I'm sure you would echo this, don't just treat Bitcoin as just a way to make some money. Knut's just explained how this is so profound. This is so deep. And I think the other thing to consider, I think it was Saylor once said it, this is like a 1 in a 10,000 year event. And we are all alive and living right through the start of this thing that's going to change the world more than we can ever imagine. And we should be so grateful that we are living in this time. What say you to that? Have you gone? Can you hear me? Hello? Are you there? Okay. I can't hear you. Well, didn't we do well, people? We nearly got to the end. Can you hear me?
All right.
You are there.
There I am.
There you go. Gotcha. So what I was saying is this is so profound that we're living in this time, this 1 in a 10,000 year event that we are seeing ushered in.
Yeah. Sorry. I am here. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know what it was. I had the I tried to click on the YouTube link, and I had the YouTube link in Twitter running at the same time. Sorry.
That'll teach you not to try and multitask. You want to see my setup? I've got stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But what I was saying, I want to get this point out. Don't you think people should really wake up to just how profound it is to live in this time, this 1 in a 10,000 year event that we are actually living through and ushering in? I just find that part of it so profound.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone is bound to fall down this rabbit hole sooner or later, and the sooner you do, the more you will get out of it. Because the lesser of your life, remaining life, you will waste on not getting into Bitcoin. Because like, it truly is life changing. I say that from first-hand experience. Very much. There's nothing has changed my life as much as this.
Me too.
Well, maybe getting kids.
I was going to say the only thing is getting married and having children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this truly is an amazing thing. And sorry, I was lost there for a while.
No, listen, it's fine.
Between the tabs.
We are live, so instead of recording something and then putting it up as live, we are live. And when you are live, things can go wrong, people. It is what it is. Look, I'm going to pull it together there, Knut. I'm going to put your Twitter in the notes afterwards. So people, I would encourage you to go and follow Knut. He's always tweeting out there on Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter person. I retweet stuff. I like stuff, but I don't really have anything deep and profound to say. But I do follow you and many others that are tweeting regularly out there. But I would encourage anyone, and I'm sure you would do the same, at the very, very, very least, get off of zero.
Exactly. That's the first advice. That's my main advice to everyone. Get off zero. That's number one.
And work out how much you could realistically squeeze back out of your wages, salary, whatever, that you waste on things, and say, instead of BTC Benny, he has a link to some kind of website that shows if you bought something 10 years ago or something and it cost you a couple $100, what would that be worth today if you'd have put that into Bitcoin instead? And some of them are just quite frightening, actually. And it's like, people, wake up. Even if you've got a little bit of money, if you can, do your own research, get it into Bitcoin and sit on it for a couple of decades. And I'm telling you now, you will be really happy. And then learn about Bitcoin. Follow people like Knut. I follow people like Bitcoin Meister, BTC Sessions, Preston Pish, Peter McCormack, Marty Bent. There are several people that you can follow to get all the good information. So, Knut, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been an absolute blast.
For having me.
Well, it's been a blast. So stick with me, because I always like to finish. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, and follow a lot of people, but do your own research. I mean, Bitcoin is leaderless. There is no one, not me nor anyone else, can tell you what it is, how you should interact with it, what practices are the best practices, and like, you can get tips from people, and there are people more that have more technical know-how than you have, and you can like, there are people with more economic know-how than, like, there are experts in different fields, but no one can tell you how to interact with Bitcoin. That's entirely up to you. That's the point.
That comes from here. That comes from here.
Yeah, and it's your money. It's your Bitcoin. It's no one else's. Like, we it's a tool. It's right there on the table. You can choose to use it or not to use it.
Yeah.
How you use it is entirely up to you. If you're not comfortable with holding your own keys, you don't need to. You can keep them on a custodial thing, at the risk of that company going bankrupt and you losing all your money. You can learn how to store your own keys on a hardware wallet, at the risk of that hardware wallet manufacturer being corrupt and you're losing all your money.
Run a full node.
You can run a full node, and you can really run a full node, and you can run Bitcoin Core on a Linux special distribution laptop with the Overture and all these things. You can, but but you don't need to learn everything at once. You can do this in steps. Like you can start with downloading a mobile wallet, custodial, whatever, and just get some Bitcoin, get off zero, and get hypnotized by the price movements as we all
we do. You know, we shouldn't watch the short-term charts, but I think you say hypnotized is a good word. And we've all got emotions, you know, and there is a nice emotion when you see number go up. There is a negative connotation when you see it go down. But if you understand that over the short term,
if you're a true Bitcoiner, you're more
you
happy
like
when
it,
the number goes down.
Stack sats cheaper. Exactly. Perhaps I said that wrong. If you're a true Bitcoiner,
because if it's supposed to go up, you shouldn't be surprised by that. And you should be more happy with it going down, because that means you can acquire some more.
That's a fair psychology.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, no one can tell you what Bitcoin is, even, or how you should use it. It's entirely up to you. All the responsibility is on you, and all the freedom is on you. So, like, that's the beauty of it. Like, the responsibility is the opposite side of the freedom coin. You can't have freedom without responsibility.
No pain, no gain.
No, exactly. And Bitcoin is the perfect embodiment of this. Do with it what you will, and good luck, and may the force be with you, and whatever.
You've been a rock star. Stick on. I'm just going to do my outro with you, Knut. And so, people, look, I'm just going to quickly nip over to my desktop. You know, I love to finish with a quote. I found this one. If 90% of success in life is showing up, the other 10% depends on what you're showing up for. So, what do I mean by that, people? You can show up and just live and exist and pay bills and die. Or you can show up and you can get in the Bitcoin rabbit hole, and you can learn all about Bitcoin and everything and much more that Knut has mentioned on this show today. And as he said, that is your choice what you do. None of us can make that choice for you. I'm just saying, for goodness sake, get in that rabbit hole and do your own research, because right now it is the most incredible time to be alive. Forgive me that we had a bit of a hiccup at the start of the show. It is what it is, people. I'm going to end it there. I'll leave you with my social media links. Please retweet this. I'm going to ask Knut if he will kindly tweet it, because he's got a lot of followers, and maybe I can get a few more. Subscribe to the channel if you're finding this. Hit the bell button, click all so you get notified. I go live every Monday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. London time. With that, I'm going to leave you with my social media links, and I will catch you all on Monday. As always, thanks for being in the call with us, and do go and follow Knut. I'll put his Twitter link in the show notes 5 minutes after the show's finished. I'm out of here. Here's my social media links. Knut, stay there. I need a 10-second outro.